All right, here we go. Okay. Is it a hump or a drop? What do you say? You got to twist your words in every which way, because the motto will always dictate what you do. Everybody knows that you've got the model affliction blues. Is it a straight line or does it curve? Some people unclamp it, but that is absurd. We all know that the model will always dictate what you do. Everybody knows that you are model afflicted blue. Model affliction. It's your addiction. That model affliction. It brings you so much pain. It's your ball and chain. Conflating curvature with elevation change has got your local distance just out of range. That old biggie is gonna dictate everything that you do. And everybody knows that you got the model affliction blue. It's your decision defending the model position. You just don't know the geometric proposition. That old ball, it'll always be illogical to you. That's why perpendicularity is a puzzle to you. Model affliction. It's your addiction. Model affliction. It brings you so much pain. It's your ball and chain.
World famous Buster. And we are live. Welcome everyone. This is Model Affliction Monday. I don't think anybody from the model afflicted. I mean, everybody in some way or another is obviously afflicted by the model. I'm afflicted by it because people want to call me a flat earther and talk to me about a globe non-stop. That's all they ever want to do. I don't give a shit about it. But I'm definitely afflicted by it. People can't stop, at least in the arena that we're in, people can't stop talking about it. And then people say, well, why, you're here, I'm doing this. It's like, well, what we're doing is, we had this working, practical understanding of what level is. And there's a certain group of people who we've met that can't have that. They have something else, but with no understanding about what it is. And we've been slowly finding out more information about what we originally thought. And we've been gathering more and more proof for our case, which now has to be said is absolutely rock solid, with proof through geometry, through logic. It's never been falsified. And that's the position we're in at the minute. Unbeatable argument. Call it tautology if you want. Just true in every way. No falsitivity. You can turn it upside down, invert it. You can do whatever you want with the arguments that we have, and they are fully backed with geometry in every way, because it's a mathematical process, logical steps to get there. That's all we've done. But thanks to the guys that have helped us get here with this understanding, and just a firm understanding of reality. Now, because of our understanding of reality and this other group's difference of their understanding of reality, the only way we can discuss these is to be able to converse, to talk to each other about these sort of things. And what we've found just recently is, unfortunately, this other group, the other side, aren't able to talk to us. And I don't think that they can talk to each other either. But they can when they get together with a common enemy, us. And then everyone can discuss us from a position where they won't be arguing with each other, because they've got their focus is on someone else, something else. So, whether we went over the existential point. Well, we've come up with this thing. We've been looking for it for a while, and it definitely comes into play. I've seen it more and more since we've done this, or we started doing this. We've called it existential cognitive veiling, in the idea that the existential is that it's real, it's based in reality. There's a fundamental understanding in reality that is known by everybody. Call it common sense, call it whatever. In reality, reality exists, and anything talking about that reality seems to be, well, that's what the existential is, right? Now, the cognitive bit, the mind, how the mind relates to reality. And then the veiling, the hiding of it. So this explanation, call it ECV, is when the mind comes into something, and I think it's something based around cognitive dissonance, where a contradiction or something is shown, but the mind already knows what's coming, and it reacts to stop you from experiencing this cognitive dissonance, because it can be distressful, it can be painful when this occurs. So the mind has its own way of shielding anybody from this, and that's what we've called it anyway, because it seems to be the way I've seen it a couple more times today, actually. So in a conversation, whenever you're having a conversation, that it gets diverted, it gets obfuscated, it gets changed. It's so you're saying and then something different. They're just unable to see it. But in the way that we can talk about these things, and we have been talking about them, obviously, to find the need for these words. Right, well, the need for the words to get to relate to reality is is where we can come in and we can talk about these things. But the other people, anybody that practices this, or maybe they're not in control of their own minds, and it you know, but they're unable to talk about something. So that's how you can tell this conversation isn't happening. It's hard to tell you about a conversation that had never happened, because it never happens. All you ever get to see or hear is the avoidance of it. You can hear it whenever you ask a question, a really simple, basic question that never gets answered, because that question exposes this contradiction. And the other one that we came up with at the weekend is and this has obviously been sort of floating around for a bit, and we used to call it the Globe Council, you know, the head elders, but it can't really be, because they haven't got the globe. There's nothing there. So I've decided it sounds much better if we use the Paralogism Advisory Council. Now, as you know, hopefully I'll explain it to you now. A paralogism is a faulty conclusion. It's bad reasoning, but it's in the conclusion part. And that conclusion has been accepted as a truth. The mind has accepted a faulty conclusion as a part of the reasoning process. And these paralogism advisors are the ones that spread these really bad reasoning, illogical statements, illogical non-arguments. And I think you'll hear more and more of it, of this sort of stuff. Got somebody, oh, here we go. Brenda. Brenda is the chief obfuscator.
I hear you complaining.
Of the
Evening, Brenda.
I hear you complaining, Bab.
Evening, Brenda.
Bab?
Are you not talking to Emma?
Quite rude of you.
That's very rude.
Are you afraid of what I'm about to say?
Well, maybe I have a different idea of rude.
Brenda, you haven't got Emma muted, have you?
Yes, I mute rude people.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You think Emma's rude?
So, Bab,
That's very rude, Emma, isn't it?
I hear you complaining.
Do you hear Brenda being rude to the head mod? That's very
Blocking.
rude, Brenda.
It's just
It's not rude.
another guy just being a
I
guy
hear you
to
complaining
another
about not
woman
getting
because
the
they think
arguments.
they're better than the
Bev,
woman. And
I
they're
hear you
not.
complaining
Are you,
about not
Brenda?
getting the arguments you want. And yet,
Brenda, you're gonna have to unmute Emma. You just talked all over Emma then. Sounds awful. It's a live show we've got going on here. Be civil, please.
all right, I'll just turn her down then. So, Bev, I hear you complaining about not having these arguments that you want, these discussions that you want.
So, Brenda, why are you on the internet pretending to be a woman?
So I'm not going to respond to that. I'm
Why
here to
not?
have the argument that you people say you want to have. If that's not, is that not what you want to have, Bev?
Model Affliction Monday. Are you not model afflicted?
So, Bev,
I'm interested in why you're here pretending to be a woman.
so Bev, please stop the abuse by your mods.
How is asking a question abuse?
Oh, I could. You think that asking a question cannot be abusive, Bev?
Wow, that was abuse, Brenda.
Is that what you think, Bev?
Right, okay, so yeah, what brings you here day after day thinking that you can tell other people that they're wrong or stupid?
Because they're wrong and stupid.
Says a guy pretending to be a woman.
Yeah, I'm just not going to stand for this kind of abuse.
Oh, are you going to leave? Or are you
I
going to
hear you
answer
complain.
why
I hear
you are
Bev
pretending?
complain.
Why
I
are
hear-
you here every day pretending
I'm not here every
to
day.
be a woman?
So this is great because it's being recorded, and
Yes, it
yeah,
is
maybe
being
you can
recorded
find-
for everyone
maybe
to
you can get
see.
another
We're all
server
curious
on
as to
a different
why.
platform. But this is abuse. That's what this is. And this is
No,
you
it's
whining
not. You're a
and
character
complaining,
on the
whining
internet.
and
You're a
complaining about the
man
conversations that you don't have.
Excuse me. You're a
and then
man
you
trying
don't
to
have those
mansplain to a
conversations.
woman. You can get me
Bev,
done for abuse
Bev,
if you
are
like,
you going
Brenda.
to
How
moderate
can I abuse you?
or not? Bev, answer the question. Are you
don't
going
think
to
we're gonna
moderate or
get-
not?
I don't think we're
Bev?
going to get any answers from
Bev,
the guy here.
Bev, are you going to moderate or not?
Hey, you're talking to the head mod.
Yes.
You?
Oh, so is this your server, Bev?
No.
No? Whose server is it?
So that's not mine.
Whose server is it?
It's Discords at the end of the day.
Whose server is it?
Discord, isn't it?
Whose server is it? See, this is why you can't have these conversations.
What conversations?
What you were whining about just before I came in here.
I
This is why.
I was just talking about
You're
existential
whining.
cognitive veiling.
No, you were whining. You were whining.
And I was talking about the Paralogism Advisory Council.
Oh,
Obviously you. Chief Obfuscator.
Yeah.
Head honcho.
You'd have to demonstrate, one, that there is a contradiction. You're incapable of doing that.
Contradiction in what?
That's what a
Where?
paralogism is.
Which contradiction?
The ones that you claim exist in the
No,
global
paralogism's a faulty conclusion. Brenda.
Yeah. That's a false argument. You have to show that.
Brenda, you've just shown everyone you're pointless.
Mm-hmm.
You have to show that.
Show what?
What we've just been talking about. This is why you can't have these
Flop
conversations.
it out on the table.
Because we just talked about
Boring.
something literally 15 seconds ago, and you can't remember what it was. Are you like
Anyone
the guy in
else?
Memento? You can't every 15 seconds. It's like
Are you getting into the abuse part now? Is that why you came in here,
Apparently
Brenda?
so. Does anyone else have anything to say to
you
the
don't care
man
about
pretending
abuse.
to be a woman?
So what is the paralogism? What is the contradiction in the globe model?
We went through that, I think it was at Friday. And
would be paper.
you avoided answering question. With
Yeah.
Mobius also, we were at verticals and horizontal plane. This is where we agreed that you can establish vertical on horizontal plane. And you refused to answer question if you can add another vertical on that plane. And this is where our conversation stopped. And you segued to other topics,
Yes, because
non-relevant.
you did. You segued because
Mm,
you don't
no.
you don't understand. You misrepresent the model.
Okay, so we can start from this point where we ended at Friday. So
What's the
Can-
contradiction?
can we-
What's the contradiction?
contradictory would be divergent verticals, for example,
How is that a contradiction?
because verticals by definition are parallel.
No, they're not.
Yes,
No,
as horizontals
no,
are.
they're not.
Horizontals
not.
are parallel.
You're
and
moron.
verticals
Dilithius
are parallel.
can't see this. Don't worry
Oh.
about it. Brenda's about to start
A vertical-
going flipping out.
A vertical is defined by a plumb bob. How is that a contradiction?
It's not. It is not defined as by Plumbo. It is
Yes,
established.
it is.
It is established
Yeah,
in
it's defined.
reality, but vertical is defined as being up and down and perpendicular to horizontal. You can establish it in reality by hanging plumb bob. Yes,
What defines up and down?
sky and earth.
No, that's not what
Yes.
defines up and down.
Up and down. Up is always to the sky, and
No.
directly opposition of
That's
it
not-
is earth.
That's not
Always.
the definition. That's not what defines up and down. No.
Go on
Well,
then.
yes,
Tell
it
us. Come on, Brenda. Go on. Give us a lesson.
Yeah, gravity establishes up and down.
Gravity establishes eventually weight of the object, maybe, but
Right?
not.
So I'm not
direction.
saying so there's no contradiction then, is there? Gravity in my model, gravity defines, it sets what is up and down.
Which gravity? Einsteinian or Newtonian?
They're the same thing.
I think so.
Yeah, well, so what? In my model,
Oh,
I don't see it,
my
there's no
model.
contradiction.
My model.
See, this is why you can't have those conversations, Bev, so stop crying about it. Right? So you understand
Do you have an answer
then
for me yet,
that
Brenda?
vertical
Do you have
is
an answer
established
for
by
me yet,
gravity.
Brenda?
It's defined by a plumb bob.
No.
No,
Use
no.
Bob to show.
Brenda, do you
Well,
have an answer for
If
me
you
yet?
just
My
reject it,
question.
then you haven't shown a contradiction in the
Oh,
model.
for frick's sake. Brenda, you're reason for being here every day.
So she can whine all she wants. She's just a bitch. So
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Yeah.
Brenda,
Wow,
that's
culture
very
Oh.
rude.
yeah,
Okay.
you're rude.
Yeah.
You're abusive. You're not just
Handbags.
rude. You're abusive. You're an
Yeah.
abuser. Bev.
Ooh.
That's why he called it.
Handbags.
Right.
Come
So
on.
gravity establishes up and down. You have yet to show a
No, plumb
contradiction.
bob does. The plumb bob. Not gravity.
Gravity establishes.
No, plumb bob.
Plumb bob establishes up and down.
I think you're confused.
Very.
Is that all you have? Just nuh-uh.
You
All you
just
have is nuh-uh.
you just said gravity instead of the word plumb bob. I'm just correcting.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're two different words.
So what?
Dialetheism.
No,
It
that's not dialetheism. idiot.
Definitely.
Brenda, is
Is
Plumb Bob
Brenda.
establishes straight line, vertical as straight line?
Plumb bobs establish vertical.
Boom.
Great. So on vertical datum, we have up to the sky and down to the earth, right?
All right, so I'm not seeing the contradiction. Where's
Okay,
your
so
contradiction?
if I'm looking for straight down, so it would be vector down indefinitely and up also indefinitely, right? Is up going indefinitely?
You don't even know what a vector is.
Is vector going up indefinitely?
You don't know what a vector is.
Can
You
answer
don't know what a
question?
man is
Yeah,
or a
your
woman.
question
So
shows a
can we
lack
please?
of knowledge.
Right, why is
of
anybody
what a vector
entertaining
is.
this when it says things like that?
Yeah, it's a bit
Brenda, if you keep
ridiculous.
talking over me, that is ridiculous.
What a mess that is.
Absolute mess,
A
Brenda.
vector is just magnitude and direction. Can directions change?
Brenda, if you
change to a
don't
different
unmute
vector.
me, I'm going to mute you.
So we can agree that up is to the sky indefinitely.
Good luck talking to someone who's muted, Paper.
Okay. She is not going to answer a simple question anyway. Like in verticals and planes. So we are stuck here anyway.
ECV, right? I mean, this is better for Brenda being muted because at least now there's no way he can actually answer because he's got an excuse now for not answering. But we know what will go on for the next hour or so. Just avoidance of answering a very fucking simple question about a straight fucking line.
Bless them.
Thought that's what we were doing, Brenda. Everybody's just calling people other things, right? Labeling them as anything, right? That's the way it works, isn't it? Some of us just live in reality, though.
Yes.
Some other people live in some sort of fantasy where they can make up things, they make up names to call people. So that was a bit of a...
On the model, it's side its head.
Yeah. But I
would
mean,
say-
obviously the ECVs are interesting. Sorry, that paper. Go on.
No, I would say only that we all live in reality. Even these people with paralogism, they also live in reality, but they don't consult their thinking with reality. That's their problem.
Well, I think that's what I was hoping to get across was people have this existential cognitive veiling, right? An avoidance of the issue. But in its place, what they put there is a paralogism. If they can fill that gap with a paralogism, some sort of faulty reasoning that they can plug the gap with, call it a polyfiller thing, that they never need to look at. And I think that's half the reason the existential, the cognitive veiling part, right? It comes in because they can't go and look at these paralogisms because now it's obvious that the paralogisms are just, they're so weak. There's nothing to substantiate them whenever they're there. It's a breeze to go through these paralogisms because they don't even know what they are. The paralogism advisors are the ones that push the paralogism, and then other people can just sort of think that they accept it think that they've heard it, and that sounds like a good argument, and it'll fill the gap because they can't obviously look at it, and then they can pass it by. But there's not so many of these people left.
No.
Not the ones that actually push the paralogisms. Brenda comes with what? I mean, there's nothing there. Literally, no argument. There's no nothing. Just some sort of chemical imbalance. Causes confusion. And if you can't get to actually discuss at the fundamental level, right? The basics. That's something else we were going over. Seeing as this the model affliction, right? And pointing out how the model affliction works. We've realised that the fundamentalist title is giving them far more credit than they deserve, because they don't even have the fundamentals. So I think it should be a better term is to call them non-fundamentalists, just to go in the theme of them not there. Like it works better for them. Like, so the non-fundamentalists pushing the paralogisms so everybody else can sort of get an easy ride out of this existential reasoning, right? That once that you see an argument, and that argument's as simple as they've helped us make them, because them saying that you don't understand has made us develop something that's so simple that I think a child can understand. It's sort of ingrained in your knowing anyway. It's the way balance works and everything. So everybody understands horizontal. Everybody understands it's an orientation. Geometry then gives you the realization, the reasoning for you to link the two together. That's why we did Realising Euclid. So hopefully people can come together and see the connection between this geometric reasoning and reality, where they're inexplicably linked. I mean, they are the same thing, really. One is used to describe the other, in my view.
Right.
So, I think we might go over Blue Marble, because Blue Marble had a live stream on Friday night when...
Oh, yeah, what's that for?
I don't know. He went live when we went live, so it would have been a mid-afternoon live stream of a Friday for Blue Marble.
Random.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, it's good to see people getting out and doing some live streams.
Definitely.
So should we go over that? Or has anybody else got anything to say about that? Or whatever occurred at the beginning of this? No doubt the reports are going in now, frantically. Sending the boys in.
I tried to progress with Brenda with discussion, but he was not able to.
No.
Can't do that.
I don't think that, like once we pinpointed it, that you can now see that this existential cognitive veiling, ECV, right, which will come because I think existential and Euclidean, pretty much the same thing. Like the Euclidean reasoning is that they can't discuss it. You can't go into the geometric understanding and start drawing things out with perpendiculars and show people how perpendiculars are actually formed within the use of the circle and the even parts of each side and the quadrants being equal. All of that sort of stuff is Euclidean, in not just in the way it's set out, but in the fundamentals, in the common notations, the axioms of the book. Well, I mean, it's not just the book, it's the axioms of mathematics as well. It's the core, the fundamentals that we talk about here within the Euclidean geometry. And that's exactly what these guys can't talk about. We've been here for years wanting to talk to the, like, who's the best globe geometer? There isn't any. They don't exist. There is none. There's no proof. They admit there's no proof. There's no argument quite clearly shown. And there's not even a discussion. So, I don't know what we are left with. Left with an understanding, me personally, that I never had before I came into this. I've looked and I've researched. I found it not to be flat. I never even thought it was to start off with. But you do have a fundamental understanding of the relationship in reality and how to describe that, how to have a conversation and discuss that with other people. That's what I've found, and I've found lucky enough to be finding a group of people that can have these discussions about very basic stuff. But I mean, it gets more advanced the simpler you get, because you have a deeper understanding, and then you realize how little you actually know, but how far you've come. You end up going on a journey to discover loads of stuff, but realize that you knew less. It's fantastic. There's so much to learn, and it's a never-ending journey. Probably that's the human condition. Hopefully, unless it's been stunted. But let me get this video up. Somebody tell Blue Marble we're going live. Going over Friday night. Now, some of this is... it's good. It's good. And as we're talking about here, we are talking about... Somebody keep an eye on the well, my screen's going to be on. So I won't be able to see anything posted in Discord. So if any of you guys... was that? Can you guys see that?
Yes, I can.
Blue Marble. I'll skip the beginning bit. I think he takes a while to get going.
The volume was low.
Volume's low.
People crank up the volume.
Yeah, that's right. Well, everybody's.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I had
There we go. I missed the introduction.
Have
What
you
have
heard
you-
that force and pressure are the same thing?
Really?
Yeah.
You
A
know,
flat earther told me.
I learned.
Is that okay? Can you guys hear that? It sounds good for everyone. No, I don't know whether you listened to Blue Marbles on Friday. Go over any of the streams. Suggest this is Blue Marble Science on the YouTube. He has a Discord server, and these I consider it at the minute. The people that you will see in here are part of the Paralogism Advisory Council. Now, most of the stuff you'll hear in there is the type of discussion that goes on about people. I mean, I don't know half of the people they're talking about unless they're talking about me. And I know whenever they're talking about me, it'll probably be a lie or a misunderstanding or whatever. This is Doofus, who's quite popular in the chat. I don't know how much he goes out and talks now, but yeah, he's one of the big advisors.
Something new every day in this arena. Which one of the
I've learned
geniuses
that
came up with that nonsense?
force and pressure, the same thing. I cannot remember specifically. I remember which server, but I don't really want to get into that. Who does what on what server, kind of.
So what he does there is he makes a claim about somebody stating that force and pressure are the same thing, but then asked who, don't know, it was somewhere on some server, but I'm not going to say which one it is. So make your mind up. Just choose someone.
You know, drama.
Oh yeah.
It's the same server where I was told that spheres don't have a surface.
How does that work?
It doesn't.
So I don't know. Somebody's binking and bonking in the Discord. Somebody's struggling to get in. Are we all right? Or is that me? Am I in Discord?
You are.
Yeah. Okay. Who's doing the binking and the bonking? Because it's getting a little bit annoying, to be honest. Let me sort this out. Who is it? Is it somebody coming in and dropping out?
Sounds like that, but I didn't spot who it is, who he is.
Well, right. I'll try and keep going. And have you seen this thing he's got on screen here? It's got this arrow here. It says this bit is level, the bit on the side. And then it says these bits on this side here, these bits are horizontal. This vertical. Who is that?
So we have new word, a horizontal bit or level bit. I don't know how it works.
Right, let me sort this out. I don't know what's going on with that thing, but I can't be having that fucking binking and bonking. It was in the settings, wasn't it? But it's normally when you're streaming. It normally switches them off. Right. I don't know whether... who is that? Is that Alfredo? No, I can't fucking stop the binking and bonking.
Are you the only one hearing it, Biff?
Maybe.
I don't hear it. That I just heard.
Just done the, yeah.
I'm hearing it as well.
Me too.
I'm not.
Okay. Well, it's going through on the live as well, so I could do with it to start, but
Yeah. What you hearing it on YouTube?
yeah, I'm hearing it. It's putting me off, and and we're doing this live at the minute, so yeah. Right. Well, I'll carry on anyway. Yeah, take the filter off. Right. Carry on.
It's so much fun hanging out.
Yeah, they still pitch fits about the idea that surfaces are only two-dimensional.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I had that discussion on a different server. I asked them if I have two coordinate components, if I have latitude and longitude, how does that make it three-dimensional? And we can count the coordinate components.
Okay. So he's got surfaces being 2D, and he's got, as an example, longitude and latitude.
But on the globe, both are curved lines. So I don't know how it works, but for me, it doesn't.
Yeah, there's only two coordinates, right? So
yes,
to me, it would not say that those two dimensions are curved. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yes, for me, yes, it is.
Yeah. But that's it. Automatically, the thinking goes to, well, those 2D must be curved. Well, no. No, there's only two dimensions. You've got longitude and latitude. That's two. Like X and Y. There's only two. Sounds fantastic. But it's not. Because that's how it works. 2D. Length and breadth.
I've got latitude, I've got longitude. Let me know what the third one is.
Yeah, and there isn't a third one.
Right.
That's all you got, latitude and longitude. That's enough. Well, if that surface is three-dimensional, I keep asking the obvious question, how thick is it?
Right.
Yeah, and that's another one of Blue Marbles' questions.
He's asking always about thickness.
Yeah, a thickness of the surface. Thickness of the plane. It's just 2D. It's not the surface of a sphere. The sphere is an implied three-dimensional object. Solid. There we go. Latitude and longitude are angles. How'd you make angles, Blue? Come on. Wake up. Angles. Oh my. How'd you get an angle? Genius. So yeah, they're struggling now between 2D. 2 dimensions. It's quite good, this.
What is
This
the
is
volume of that
doofus.
surface was another question I think Chaiki was asking,
Yeah,
or at
I've
least
been,
somebody was trying to hold their feet to the fire.
I've been asking them that for a long time now. If the surface is three-dimensional, it must have a volume. What would the volume be? How do I figure that out? And they can't
Are you
answer
talking
it, of
over
course.
on? Are you talking over on Earth Awakenings?
No.
I've been
not
there
me.
a bit. I've been on Jose's a bit. I've
Good
heard a
to hear,
bunch of
Sean, isn't it?
derp in various locations.
Yeah, there's the guy that owns that server talks about how a ball isn't a sphere, the Earth isn't a sphere, and a sphere is a two-dimensional object, and its surface or a surface is three-dimensional. Yeah, so they have absolutely no idea.
I mean, I can go along with when you said a ball is not a sphere. Strictly speaking, that is true.
A ball is not a sphere. And now all of these times where they're talking about drawing lines on balls, it's not a sphere, he's saying. This is doofus. One of the guys in the background that is one of the Paralogism Advisory Council, you can hear it. He's advising Blue Marble here about a two-dimensional coordinate system. This is interesting. Listen to who's doing it.
But
Yeah,
if you want to get into the nitty gritty of geometry and specific terms, but yeah, they can't get it all at once.
Well, he doesn't even think it's a spherical shape.
Hey, shout out to Digital Demonic Davros for 5 Australian. Says there's no depth to that argument. Stay shallow. I like it.
Shallow Earth.
I've been listening to that Daniel Brooks trial all morning, and yeah, I'm ready for a break from that.
Nice. It's good to hear Sean, isn't it? He did that debate with Brian Leakey.
He stayed civil. Surprisingly.
Yes, Sean.
Suddenly I feel the urge to ride a mountain bike and measure Polaris angles. I don't know why.
Yeah, strictly speaking, from the standpoint of a mathematician, a sphere is actually the surface.
Strictly speaking, from the mind, did he say the mind or is Blue Marble touting himself as a mathematician there? Radiusless. Is he talking about a radiusless sphere for a mathematician?
Radiusless sphere. Okay.
Just for a mathematician, right? Not for people in reality.
There, I got you a relevant quote. I posted it in the chat.
Go on.
I would ask in how many directions radius of the sphere can go, because as I know, it can go in every direction. It means in 3 dimensions, this radius of the sphere.
I think they've encountered that problem and decided to just do away with the radius.
Yes, but this is quite impossible because you cannot, if you have, if a sphere is created by revolving circumference around diameter, and diameter is just two radii. So you cannot go away with sphere without radius. You cannot, or diameter.
Well, that's what Blue Marble says, and Blue Marble's the mathematician here, I think. The head honcho. I mean, these are, like we say, this is the Paralogism Advisory Council. Like, so Blue Marble is going along with Doofus to push this two-dimensional, every surface is 2D concept that they're doing. I mean, I don't know why. Well, I do know why, but it's model based.
For me, argument would be that in the circle you can have radii in every direction, but only within 2D on the plane. But on this in the sphere, you can have all 3 dimensions. So it has to be difference between circle and sphere. For me, it should cancel this argument that sphere is 2D, because you can have radius in every direction in space, in 3D space, not 2D space. Because if we are talking about circle, we are talking about 2D plane, normal. So radius can go everywhere, but only within this plane. But in space, you can go everywhere in 3 dimensions. So for me, this is just destroying argument about 2D sphere.
Yeah, to me, I can't even get my head around how people like Blue Marble and Doofus are able to accept a 2D sphere. I mean, it's got to be purely mathematical, right? There's no way you can relate that to reality. You've got to be admitting that you're outside of reality.
Are they saying the whole sphere is 2D now, or they're sticking to their old tested?
Yeah, there's only one surface of a sphere, and they're saying that is 2D.
Right. Yeah.
And that's just an amazing concept that I can't put my head there. I just cannot do it.
Dialetheism, 100% pure. There can't be a better. There can't be a better description. They're thinking of a 2D surface on a 3D object. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're getting rid of the object.
Yeah, well, the object doesn't matter. It's just the surface. Yeah.
It's madness. But hence the Paralogism Advisory Council. Now, Blue Marble and Doofus are the head guys. People have to listen to him. They can't go against each other. They're frantically agreeing with each other about this 2D.
Yeah.
A ball.
I like that. PAC, Paralogism Advisory Council. That's a good one. Yeah, the PAC.
Yeah, I didn't revert back to a misunderstanding of 2D and 3D Blue. Absolutely not. That's why the fundamentals have served me well.
Is that the wolf pack?
Well, I think so. I think that's what the wolf pack is. The wolf is Wolfie and Wally, isn't it? So the PAC is the Paralogism Advisory Council.
Nice one, spot on. Yeah.
That wasn't my doing.
No, but I came up. Well, the PAC, right? And then you said you connected that with PAC, Wolf Pack.
Let's go.
Is the volume contained inside
Two
that
pack
sphere?
I read.
Let me go back and do that again, because that's Blue Marble doing his maths. Is somebody all right Did it keep dropping out or something? Or is it just Discord? I don't know why the bleeps have come back on. It must have been some sort of an update.
I think that it was this time it was Gizmo. I am not sure because he was and he is not.
Get notification.
Yeah, the binking and the bonking keeps going on. It normally stops whenever you're meant to be live streaming. But never mind. Slight glitch. Listen to Blue Marble do his maths. Grandpappy.
And yeah, I'm ready for a break from that.
Yeah, strictly speaking, from the standpoint of a mathematician, a sphere is actually the surface.
There, I got you a relevant quote. I posted it in the chat.
A ball is the volume contained inside that sphere.
Didn't he say circle and sphere?
He said a sphere is the surface and a ball is the volume contained
but
within the sphere.
Before, didn't he say a circle and then he said sphere right after that? Maybe I heard incorrectly.
Well, look, we can do it again.
Still, it doesn't mean that 2D surface can enclose 3D space.
Yeah, that's
2D
ridiculous.
surface cannot enclose 3D space. It's impossible.
Yeah. Gauss did it. You know, they should know this. I mean, they do that topology as well, don't they? Like, it's so ridiculous to not see what's going on.
I read when I looked it up, it said a surface or a volume. So
Yeah, no, the strict terms will be ball is the volume and sphere is the surface.
Right.
Okay.
What do you mean a surface or a volume?
Yeah, because what they're doing is they're separating sphere now from ball. Because there's a solid, obviously, and they don't want to have the solid. In order for them to stop using 3D and be able to have the sphere, they have to get rid of a dimension somehow. And to them, they just get rid of the inside.
But it cannot work.
I know, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
Volume. He said volume.
This space can be empty.
Yeah, that's the whole idea of how Euclid described it.
So, for example, if we have two-dimensional square normal on the plane, it doesn't matter what is inside. Just borders of this square are establishing the square. It doesn't matter what is inside. So the same for the surface of the sphere. If it encloses three dimensions, it is 3-dimensional. Like a square is 2-dimensional because it encloses 2-dimensional plane, for example. So I don't understand their pseudo logic here.
It's philosophy, isn't it? It's like philosophy of shape.
You reckon?
Rather than being practical.
I don't know. I don't think it's philosophy. It doesn't sound anything like that. It's literally, it's just a...
But whenever they used the ball before, you know, they've used the internal angles, haven't they? They go internal to get the angle, to get the 90.
Blue Marble
so at the surface,
sometimes
they use the inside sometimes too.
Well, you have the dimensions for the semi circle. Anyway, Blue Marble's drawn some lines here. in the on his ball that's showing. It says these bits are vertical, pointing at two lines that aren't vertical. And then the other bit on the other side says these bits are horizontal, and one of those lines is actually vertical. One of the verticals is actually horizontal. And there you can tell that because the perpendicular on the page. It's ridiculous. But Blue Marble's got that as his screenshot on the thing. And yet he wants to say it's 2D. Because what he's got there, right, is a straight line on a 2D. Thinks the sphere, the ball there, is 2D. So I'm pretty sure that's like a plane, Blue. To me, anyway.
Yeah, he's turned the circle and the sphere into a circle.
Yeah. So he can draw lines on it.
Circle sphere.
Yeah. What orientation do you think it is, Blue? This 2D. But it's vertical, isn't it?
Well,
it is in that picture there, anyway. If it's 2D, it's vertical. Nice.
That's for the math purists out there.
That's for the mathematicians out there.
But that's how they define it.
That's how they define
Got
it.
you a relevant Bev quote. He likes if you can submerge a surface and it displaces a liquid, that's how you know it's a three-dimensional surface.
Oh, Lord. Hello, Ron.
Right. Okay. So I'll just put that back. We'll go to Discord here. And let me just find this.
He's pointing to the side of a ball saying this is level. Well, a circle, actually, sorry. It's hard to know, isn't it, sometimes, what they're talking about? Whether it's a circle or a sphere. Hey, Essie.
Here we go. See this. This is what they're talking about. And we call this, we did. I think it was Mobius inspiration came up with this one. We call this the 2D, 3D displacement method. And it states, if a surface is fully submerged into a liquid, then the volume of the displaced liquid will be equivalent to the volume contained by the submerged surface. Thanks, Mobius. That's what they're talking about. I think it's closely related to, is it Archimedes' principle?
Eureka! Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how we know that the surface of a sphere isn't 2D.
Mm-hmm.
Because it obviously contains a volume.
Yes, it doesn't matter if this volume is filled with something or nothing.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It encloses 3D space. That's all.
Yeah, so thanks for Doofus for remembering that. Obviously, stuck in his head. Because it's another one of those things, you can't get around that. put a surface into a liquid, and you'll find out how if it's 2D or 3D. Again, water. The key. Go back again. I think Rumpus has just arrived, so I wonder what's going to be on Rumpus's mind.
Rumpus.
Hashtag thanks, Bev.
Well, I mean,
Is that what I get? And oh Lord.
well, the surface of the sphere,
Is that
if
for
you
me?
look at it from a different point of view, it's the surface has height, width, and depth, but not when you're talking about, well, what am I trying to say?
Well,
If you look at a sphere, it has a surface, and the sphere is three-dimensional, so the surface has to be three-dimensional too, right?
Sean, I don't know what Sean's doing. Blue, you carry on. Keep going, Blue. Have a laugh. This is good. Enjoyable. Sean's just said it as well.
Right? That's what they think.
That's what they think,
yeah. But the same argument, by that same argument, a line would be three-dimensional because that occupies 3D space as well.
Yeah.
Right.
And I did actually put a post in about 3 weeks ago or something because I'm doing this document.
Did you hear that? Rumpus came in with by that. Did he say argument?
He said, I think document. I'm not sure.
Let's listen.
Right? That's what they think.
That's what they think.
Yeah. But the same argument, by that same argument, a line would be three-dimensional.
See, by that same argument, a line would be 3D. No, a sphere is 3D. A line is 1D. Defined as so, but has to be so. One direction, one vector, one straight line. Everybody should know that.
Yeah.
A line is the shortest distance between 2 points. I mean, come on, not 3D. The sphere is 3D. Crazy. But yeah, Rumpus has just joined this gang. Everybody else had their chance. Rumpus is Blue Marble's co-host. He's about to take
because that
away,
occupies 3D space as well.
Yeah,
right.
And I did actually put a post in about 3 weeks ago or something because I'm doing this document. I'm doing this sort of guide to the globe for people that's about, I don't know, 100 points or something and about 50 pages long.
Wow. See? Guide to the globe, 100 points. It sounds like he wants to be the globe Eric Dubay, I think. The globe proofs 100 Rumpus.
Promises. I don't believe him.
It's going to be good. It's a 50-page book or a document.
And I put in there my definition of what a surface is. And Clive Wells, I didn't get back to him. He said I made this point that that it doesn't occupy any volume, and I made and it's on a one-dimensional thing. And he seemed to then suddenly jump into some infinity argument. I don't know whether he was thinking that a line could sort of wrap around itself and then actually form a volume. I didn't pin him down. I'm going to have to do that again because he claims my bit was wrong, but I think you agreed with it, Blue. And if it doesn't have any volume, it doesn't matter how many lines you put on top of one another, it doesn't have volume, neither does a surface. They're infinitely thin, therefore they have no volume, therefore they're not 3D. I mean, they occupy 3D space, but then, as I say, so does a line. And we don't even and actually, even Bev, when I put that to him, seemed to take a step back and think, yeah, it's actually a line. Oh, that's right. They then said the orientation of the line.
What's he saying? He's all over the place.
Yep.
Even Blue can't get him to stop. You can hear Blue trying to get in. It's mad.
Was somehow important, or if it was curving, and then that means that, hold on, you're telling me if I change the way I orientate a line, that changes how dimensional its inherent properties are. No, sorry, the line, that's just a matter of changing the coordinate system. You're saying just on the orientation of your coordinate system. Obviously that would mean that everything was having this. If you did take that view, then that would mean that all objects,
like, I mean, who is listening to anything that Rumpus is saying now? He's obviously spurging out. Just rambling.
Yes, but through this rambling, I can see his cognitive pain, because he's struggling with curving dimensions.
Yeah.
So he knows that he needs curved dimensions, but this is just nonsense. But this is
Blue
the only
Marble's
way.
been doing that today with Mike. I don't know whether we can get round to it after in a bit. But yeah, Blue Marble is he's been saying that elevation profiles should actually be curved. He thinks the architects should redo it and put a curve in there. But like for canal elevation profiles, add a curvature to it. That's what Blue Marble thinks should be happening. So pretty much the same as Rumpus here. Like, he imagines when he's had a conversation with us about a straight line, he's imagining these strange concepts of curving and warping planes and things. I don't know. Obviously, your mind has to go to really strange places. I think Rumpus has gone there.
I have answer, or rather rebuttal for Blue Marble Science. He's saying on YouTube chat, the volume enclosed by a sphere is 3D. The sphere itself surface is 2D by definition. Wrong. The surface of the cube is 3D. So it doesn't work. Surface of cube is 3D, whole surface. It is a compound of 6 separate surfaces of squares. So we have 2D squares and 6 of them. But these 6 squares are in 3D, not 2D. Therefore, a surface of the sphere has to be 3D also. It doesn't work that way as Blue Marble wants to.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what they're doing. They're setting it up. They've got a 2D surface to sell. The salesmen, they're doing it now. This is how the PAC work. They gather together people with similar delusions and they hand them off to other people. But they can imagine that they're coming from a more intellectual point of view. But we like to stick in reality. That's all we do here, Blue. When we're talking about a sphere, we talk about the Euclidean solid sphere, which is obviously a 3D. Yeah, let's carry on.
will have the same dimensions as the space they're in. So, for instance, if we in a 5-dimensional space, then the line would become 5-dimensional.
What's he talking about? The line would only ever be 1-dimensional. That's what a line is. Like, how hard is it for you to understand that? That gives rise to the other one, the perpendicular to it. That's how a plane's formed. X and Y. Come on, guys. It's not that hard. Just coming at these things from reality. These guys are pushing it to each other because they're all agreeing with each other. I mean, good for them. But it's the criticism of other people that comes along with it.
The surface would be 5-dimensional. 3-dimensional would be 5-dimensional. So there'd be no. You might as well just give up describing the dimensionality of an object. You'd just be talking about the space in which you were looking at it in. So that makes. And obviously, lines have very different properties. You can only move along a line, and then you can move.
He said, obviously, lines have very different properties. Well, no. Straight. Like, no different properties at all. Yeah, Blue, I cannot understand it. Don't worry about me, Blue. I'll carry on like this. This is how we do things. But I'll be here for the simple people that want to imagine a line as being 1D, as in a straightest path, even path. Crazy. Let's hear some more of the PAC work.
Move around in a certain set of points. I mean, if something was truly 3-dimensional, then it should be able to occupy all 3-dimensional. If it's extended as far as it likes, it should be able to occupy all the space. And obviously, a line can't. So it's just silly to refer to something as the same dimensionality as the space in which it's living. It has to be something inherent about the thing. So a line, you can only define a point, and you only need one coordinate to move along a line, and you only need 2 coordinates to map to find every point on a surface. So those are the properties. And then the fact that you then project them into the space in which they live, that's not really part of the object. It's you can't describe an object by how it's the space it's living in. You need something about the inherent properties of it. So
he's spurging out again. This is what happens when you have to define something that's not real. Yeah, Blue. Yeah, you go and talk to your globe geniuses. Off you go. This is good though for us to cap up with the model affliction. Obviously, model afflicted geniuses.
5-dimensional straight line.
Yeah.
Good. That's good.
If you were to have 5D, then the line would be 5D. I mean, Rumpus.
Yeah, which it really involves a bit of thinking, and so obviously that's too much for a Bevite, who I was trying to explain to yesterday. That for a spherical, it still rejects spherical.
That's Rumpus bringing us into it. First mention, 12 minutes in. Shout out, Rumpus.
Geometry, and didn't understand that a spherical square and a spherical triangle, around an equator or something, look the same thing. But anyway.
Triple down. The square, triangle, circle.
Yes, on equator.
Yeah.
Great circle.
Yeah.
Great circle is great.
Triangle.
Triangle. Great.
Yeah. Well, the circle has 360, right? And then you have a great circle that is the triangle with 540 degrees. And then, not to be outdone, we've got the square shooting in with 720 degrees. Same thing. Very similar on the Rumpus globe model. It's well worth remembering. How do you double the angles in a circle? Make it a square. Fantastic. Multi-purpose circle, square, triangle. Thanks, Rumpus. And he gives us credit for that. So I hope that really goes down in history as we're the guys that expose the globular circle square triangle. All the same thing, just different angles. All of the shapes actually have 108. Do you reckon that is the circle then? Do you reckon the circle is the surface of 180 degrees, infinite 180 degree angles externally? Because if you have a triangle with 180, 180s, and then a square with 4 180s, then infinite 180s would give you the circle, wouldn't it? Worth thinking about. Maybe Rumpus will have it in his book.
Well, all that is meaningless because I learned from a guy named Face Reality that the Earth is supernatural because it was created by a supernatural being.
Can't supernatural beings create things that aren't supernatural?
Well, not according to this guy.
Right. Okay. Well, that works. Well, we'll give up then. Obviously, he's right. It's by searching.
Hold on. So we're supernatural also.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Looks
have
that
to
way.
be.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
So
talk to
everything is
you shouldn't-
supernatural. So let's call it supernatural natural, huh?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it basically becomes, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, ultimately, that is the difference. If we thought something was supernatural, and then discovered it had all the, it behaved in a reliable, predictable manner, we would then call it natural. I mean, something like the quantum indeterminacy and the way things, and the fact that two electrons, for instance, can be at different sides of the universe, and then if you affect one, like when they're entangled, it can affect the other, or the fact that time. I mean, you could argue that time changing is not natural. Ultimately, if you find something that's going to behave in a definable mathematical way, then it doesn't matter how weird it is, how supernatural it is. Things popping into existence and then going away again, which is what virtual particles do. Well, that doesn't sound very natural, but ultimately, if it's describable with maths, it becomes natural.
Supernatural is natural.
If it's describable within math. Now, I think this is where the Paralogism Advisory Council would have a disagreement with us. When I talk about mathematics, I talk about an actual application of that mathematics. What you're doing, what's it for? What's the end goal? Why are you trying to do that? What equation? What does that mean? I'm not too sure that's what Rumpus means. I think this is the Brenda thing, isn't it? Where you can just sort of define something into existence and make it natural now. Do some supernatural maths to naturalize something. It's beginning to sound like Rumpus wanting to do a little bit of wizardry.
I smell some Gnostic thinking here.
Well, let's see where it goes. He is rambling a bit, but that's Rumpus, isn't it?
So God, you could argue that God, I mean, we just mean by supernatural, really, that it doesn't conform to our current understanding of physics, really.
He says you could argue that God, and then he had to stop himself because he knew that it's got no argument. There is no argument there. He can't formulate an argument. Say thanks to the guys in this server that people are actually thinking about what the argument is. Rumpus is stopping himself because he knows there is no argument to be formed. The obfuscations are going to be a lot more in these coming months.
I kind of wanted to go back to the previous point before that tangent, which was about dimensionality and coordinate
Oh yeah, good.
systems. This brings up a another point that deficiency that we find with flat earthers often, which is they only have one coordinate system with which they think everything must adhere to, and they think everything must be Cartesian. Lengths
That's right.
are linear, and everything's perpendicular, or every axis is perpendicular.
Yeah.
However,
And
Yeah, in reality, yeah. Lengths are straight lines, like a meter. Everybody knows what a meter is. It's a length in a straight line.
Yes, because otherwise you will fall into second dimension.
Yeah.
So if you have horizontal and vertical, and you are creating, for example, that kind of strange dimension on the slope that would be hypotenuse, it means that you are measuring in 2 dimensions, in horizontal at the same time and vertical. So it would be faulty measurement. That's why we use only horizontal and vertical separately, not together, not joined as hypotenuse. So it cannot be. Even not every straight line can be dimension if it is already described in Cartesian system. For example, like line lying between horizontal and vertical in 45 degree. If horizontal and vertical is already set up, then we cannot say that this line is one dimension. It's in two. So in Cartesian system. But it doesn't work that way, that you can have just a curved line to be as a coordinate system, because it changes direction. And definition is that this is in one direction, measurement in one direction.
I mean, I think personally they're insulting people's intelligence.
Yes, yes.
Not just us, but the people on their own side, right? This is where the Paralogism Advisory Council comes from. These people are just spagging out. They're handing out their paralogisms about some sort of mathematical concepts where they imagine that they're mathematical geniuses, whilst telling people that they don't really understand what reality is. Because there's a difference between this two-dimensional conceptual idea that they have and actual reality. We have to keep saying that we, whenever we've been doing any of the geometry, we did say we are in book 11 all the time. But to end up showing how we get there, you have to go through the earlier books of the concepts of how you end up at this point to describe reality and where we live in reality. And that's all we're saying here. Have a concept. Everybody has a concept of the shortest distance between 2 points when you're measuring. If you're going about 1 mile, that 1 mile is a straight line. I mean, everybody has it as an understanding. These guys are trying to convince you it's not straight. You just don't understand it. These guys, imagine they're coming from a point of brilliance. Listen to it. I mean, is this a genius, or is this just somebody who's challenged?
And that's what
polar
confuses
graph
them, Diffus.
is a very. I'm sorry.
That's what they're confused about. They only recognize a Cartesian system and a point which has no dimensions. still in a Cartesian system still needs 3 dimensions in order to specify where it is.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean the point is 3-dimensional.
It's like they mix perspective and orthographic views because they don't understand stuff. The same concept.
Right.
I'm sorry, but go ahead.
So if they think,
yeah,
if they think Cartesian systems are the only systems that work, I mean, then they have to acknowledge, or I mean, it's easy to point out to at least the people who are listening.
Right, you have to point out here, they are talking about flat earthers, right? Not understanding that, but I'm getting the feeling they're just talking about Cartesian coordinate systems, which is the X, Y, and the Z.
Yes, and Blue said that to coordinate point, we need three, yes. 3 straight lines to coordinate, yes.
Yeah, we need to have the formulation of the perpendicular axis within 3 dimensions for us to be able to coordinate anything within those coordinate system.
Yes, you cannot curve coordinate system because if you curve one of these lines, let's say Z, you will curve it into the other dimensions. So your measurement would be, let's say, influenced by other dimensions. So it is impossible to measure that way. You cannot have curved dimensions.
Yeah, the perpendicularity between all of these dimensions.
Yes, if you are curving line, then you are losing perpendicularity. So
and you can't have all right angles being equal, right? You can't have a right angle without straight lines, and all right angles are equal goes to prove that the perpendicularity exists within that relationship of every straight line.
Yes, and that's why, for example, usually we have 0 point at intersection point where X and Y are meeting, and they are 0 only, and they can be 0 for both dimensions only because these are straight perpendicular lines. If you curve one of the line, this line, for example, vertical, if you curve vertical, it means that this line at some point is not lying at 0 on horizontal. So your coordinate system is screwed already. You cannot do that.
Any curve within a plane, if it was constant, would end up being a circle.
Yes, of course. But any curve, not only circle, any curve will screw your measurement and your coordinate system. You cannot have just coordinate system without straight lines. It's just impossible and nonsense.
And that's why I keep saying these guys are handing out their paralogisms to people that aren't, well, I don't know whether people can imagine that they're much cleverer at this point in time. Whenever they're listening to Blue Marble and his paralogisms, but I think they're doing a shout out to the fans now.
Listening. Polar graphs exist. Obviously, things that are not Cartesian do work, and we can do useful work with them. So this whole everything has to be Cartesian mess in order to be, quote, Euclidean, that's completely nonsensical. There's no requirement for that.
The other amazing thing was I had a quick go.
Did you hear that?
Well, he's not right because Cartesian is Euclidean.
Yeah.
Of course. So you cannot have another and say that this is geometrical. No. okay, you can have some coordinate system, but this is not geometrical. And Cartesian is geometrical. But this new, they are to create, should be not geometrical, because it cannot be.
Yeah, you can't keep 2D and change 2D into 3D.
Yes, it is impossible.
And then just get rid of one of the dimensions again. I mean, it's a really strange concept for you to do it, and it's obviously conceptual, which is where it should stay in your mind.
On Bev's yesterday, and they again dispute the existence of spherical geometry, even though it's a Googleable thing and there's a big Wikipedia page on it.
The existence. Existential doesn't exist. The only thing that does exist is the Euclidean three-dimensional sphere. That exists in the Euclidean three dimensions that we live in, obviously. That's how he described it. The sphere, in reality, a ball, is described within Euclidean geometry and defined. Don't know what they're talking about.
And even telling Bev that if you're drawing on a surface of a sphere, you're doing non-Euclidean geometry.
You're not. You're drawing on a ball.
You are drawing a curved line, and you cannot say that this is straight line. Simple.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Again, it's a case of, is he too stupid to understand what's going on? Is he being willfully stupid and dishonest? It's very difficult to tell sometimes. Well, all the time, in fact. Well, no, I definitely know he's being stupid a lot of the time. And I know he's definitely being dishonest some of the time. Whether it's the overlapping. But yes, but he refuses to do that, because I think he knows deep down that if he starts thinking about doing things on a sphere, that will somehow upend his belief in. Of course, it's got the word spherical geometry is the problem. Spherical geometry is about just being on the surface of a sphere. What you can do, the geometry of being on the surface of a sphere. But because it's got the word sphere in it, they think, that's the Euclidean 3D thing, which obviously, I mean, a sphere.
Yes. Our entire understanding of what a sphere is comes from Euclidean geometry, from the circle, the extension of the semicircle around the diameter. Very simple.
And by the way, on the surface of the sphere, you cannot draw Cartesian coordinate system. You cannot, for example, you cannot draw a plumb line. It is impossible. You can draw a plumb line on the piece of paper, two-dimensional. But on the surface of the sphere, you cannot draw plumb line. So they are missing many things in this spherical geometry.
Existential cognitive veiling.
Yes,
they won't be able to talk about it.
For example, task for globe geometers to draw on a spherical surface Cartesian coordinate system. Just two, X and Y. How to draw? Maybe they can. I don't think so, but it would be great achievement to draw coordinate system Cartesian on a sphere.
But it's good, always good when Rumpus gets the floor.
You can do all your lovely Euclidean operations on it, and it is a 3D thing. It's defined in a Euclidean way. But the concept of, I mean, all it means Euclidean, of course, means that it does parallel lines meet or spray out. That's or diverge. That's
This is what gave rise to the Paralogism Advisory Council thing. He's talking rubbish. But everybody has to take it on. Parallel lines. Listen to him again. Literally, listen to what he's been led into saying.
The concept of, I mean, all it means Euclidean, of course, means that it does parallel lines meet or spray out. That's
They either meet or spread out. What's he talking about? Parallel lines. There's a new definition. Rumpus is doing it live on Blue Marbles. All non-Euclidean means is that parallel lines meet or diverge.
This is for me. This is silly because in normal Euclidean geometry, you can draw straight lines which are meeting and straight lines which are not meeting. So parallel and not parallel. But on the surface of the sphere, you cannot draw straight lines and you cannot draw parallel lines. So something wrong with that geometry because it is lacking some things you can do within Euclidean geometry. So in this spherical geometry, you can do less than in Euclidean geometry. So for me, that's it. It means it is gibberish.
It does not exist. There's no non-Euclidean in reality. We just live in Euclidean reality, right? And that's how we explain it. I don't know how to get to the not reality place that these guys obviously seem to think that we live in. We actually all live in the same reality. Just how people's minds perceive it, maybe. I don't know. I can't think of a place where parallel lines wouldn't exist, because if a straight line exists, then you can either have a line that's going to intersect with it, causing an angle, or if it doesn't, then we call that parallel. There's only those two states, as explained in the triangle axiom, which we went over one of the beginning parts. It's brilliant. Basic concepts. Obviously sticks in the minds of these guys, and they have to start doing something different. But redefining the definition of parallel lines, never heard that done before. I've never even heard anybody acknowledge the fact that the parallel lines and parallel planes are within the definitions, not the axioms, not the postulates. It's a definition. It comes before all of that. And of course, Euclid knows if you have a straight line, there's only a couple of possibilities on a plane.
Diverge. That's all that really makes it non-Euclidean, a surface of a sphere. But it does that, and you can demonstrate this by just drawing stuff on it. And providing you restricted, this is the way it goes. If you're restricted to the surface of a sphere, they think they occasionally make the odd sort of attempt at argument. Say, well, okay, I drill through. If I want to get this shortest line between 2 points, isn't a curve; it's a straight line. If I'm able to drill through the sphere that it's on, then obviously that is a straight line, and that's the shortest distance. But if you say no, the whole point about spherical geometry is you're only allowed to move around on the surface, then the shortest distance between 2 points has to be a curve. And that
it has to be.
Yes, but still, it doesn't serve well for Rumpus, because if you have cube, you can draw something on one of the sides of the cube, and geometry still works here. So if you are restricted to surface of solid object, you can still use Euclidean geometry. It means that this is only this new spherical geometry, only on the surface of the sphere. Is some special surface that you cannot draw something like straight lines or perpendicular lines or whatever. So for me, it means that this surface is not good to make geometry. This is the worst surface to make geometry.
Well, I think they're just telling you that it's a conceptual place that they can take their minds to. Because they are using straight line distances in reality. And they are using perpendicular and vertical and horizontal being perpendicular. You know, everything gets used as you would expect with straight lines. Perpendiculars, right angles, or right angles being equal, the X, Y, Z Cartesian coordinate system, the planes, the elevation profiles, the maps, the scale maps, all of that have Euclidean principles all built into them, ingrained into them. There's only this short, small group of people that imagine it differently, and that's it, literally, imagining differently.
Yes, but still I don't understand why, for what purpose it is, because it doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. I don't know either, like why it's so important for them to come and, you know, have a go at us for saying something that seems like natural, really. See, Blue Marble's amazed. He's entertained. He's been laughing along, and he can feel superior. He does like listening, obviously, and whether he's learning or not. I mean, Firmament says it's best that if you the best way for you to learn is to teach. So Rumpus must be learning loads, passing on his paralogisms like this. Because when I hear that, do you get the idea that Rumpus is there to teach Blue Marble? And who else is in there? Chaiki, Alan Evans, Doofus, Judy, Sean Hawkins.
Maybe he's practicing in preaching
as well.
This audience is listening. How good he is in preaching.
Yeah, he's got a good audience. I don't know how many Blue Marble had watching it at the time, but I mean, probably doing well. Giving Rumpus a platform. Good on you, Blue.
That's a bit where they obviously have a problem.
And you can only move in two directions on that surface. You only have 2 degrees of freedom on that surface.
Someone did try and say to me on Bevs yesterday, well, how can you describe a sphere in spherical geometry? No, you can't, because it's only 2-dimensional. Just because it's got the word sphere in it does not mean to say you can describe, so you can't have spheres in spherical geometry in the sense of a sphere sitting on your surface. It's only 2-dimensional. You've only got 2 coordinates, as you say, and you can't have a spherical bally thing defined in that space. It's only a surface.
Wow. So there is no solid geometry to spherical geometry. It never makes it into the reality stage. He's just admitted it once again. Entirely conceptual. There's no vertical component in this geometry. Therefore, not reality. 2D. A vertical-less component. So, I mean, there you go. What else could you say about that? Somebody who thinks it's just 2D. Just 2D. That's it.
And of course, it's really useful to us. And I mean, so you can do things. You can demonstrate what the shortest line. It's got to be a curve between these things. You can do it physically in your own bedroom, which is usually the acid.
He did just say that. You can do it yourself in your own bedroom. I hope this is going to be in his thing. I'm going to let you listen to that again because genius.
I mean, so you can do things. You can demonstrate what the shortest line. It's got to be a curve between these things. You can do it physically in your own bedroom, which is usually the acid test.
In your own bedroom. Come on, people. Rumpus is talking about measuring straight lines as being curves. The shortest distance between 2 points being a curve as something you can do in your bedroom. He's obviously talking to the Globers. Come on, are you keen to hear what you have to do?
That they apply. Can I see this in my bedroom? Yes, you can. Get a ball in the bedroom, and then start drawing on it. And think, how do I? Oh, look.
Get a ball in your bedroom and start drawing on it. Advice from Rumpus: get in. You want to see how straight lines curve? Get a ball in your bedroom. No, in the bedroom. Blue. Well, Blue, that's what he said. Strange that Rumpus is talking about his bedroom. Do you reckon he's sat in his bedroom? A bedsit or something.
Look, that shortest distance between 2 points. And of course, it's really useful to us on the Earth because we live on a sphere. And therefore, if we want to know the shortest distance between two airports, you have to start doing spherical geometry type operations. Like
operations. No, you just measure it. If you want to know the shortest distance from one point to another, you measure it. What's up with him? It's not curved either. It's a straight line, horizontal. Otherwise you have rise over run. I'm not getting triggered, Blue. No, this is us exposing the paralogisms that are being handed out by this very strange, tiny group of people. I mean, I don't know who you're selling it to. It's even harder to sell this bullshit than it is to sell the globe. This is some weird conceptual maths that you have to take into reality with you.
have a sign stuff and goodness knows what. So that's why it's useful. It's directly applicable to the real world, and you can do it in your bedroom. It's just, but I'm gonna have to. I wonder when I have this debate with Mobius and SCL.
He thinks he thinks it's applicable to the real world because you can take a ball to your bedroom, start drawing on it, Anybody else got balls in the bedroom for drawing on? Balls in the bedroom. Oh, come on. Oh, right, okay. He says he's going to debate with SE. Did you hear that, SE? Mobius as well. Rumpus has changed it.
What's that? It's a debate now?
Yeah, listen.
So that's why it's useful. It's directly applicable to the real world, and you can do it in your bedroom. It's just, but I'm gonna have to. When I have this debate with Mobius and SE, I'll do this show.
See, when I have this debate with Mobius and SE, it's taken on both of you. It's turned from a presentation into a debate.
I was not aware it was a debate.
No.
I hear the fear in Mobius' voice, and I'm sure you hear the fear in mine.
Petrified.
He might bring his bedroom balls out for you.
Oh, geez.
Disco.
It's a family
Disco
show.
rump.
Go through this, but
Well,
I'm
it
not
isn't-
quite as confident
yeah.
about getting through to them on that one as I am about showing them that you can have drop and hump at the same time.
It's certainly not unique to the Earth. It is true for any sphere.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's directly
Regardless of
applicable to the
how.
real world. The reason we talk about it and think it's
Any sphere, not just the Earth. Any sphere, says Blue. We were talking about spheres. Obviously, 2D, not existed in reality, so yeah.
Just look at that water level, man. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
If you think level is horizontal, you are a flat earther, says Blue Marble.
Yeah.
Blue Marble saying that. That's take it on.
it's quite important. It's not just some sort of conceptual space which is interested mathematicians who spend their entire life worrying about these things and not living in the real world. It is a real world thing that's applied to real world navigation and operations in the real world.
Yeah, that's right.
This coordinate system with no vertical. That actually is never applied in any elevation profiles or any maps or anything like that. To scale means a straight line, linear distances. I think most people would recognize that as well. There's not many people that would understand why people like Blue Marble and Rumpus are trying to bend that. Well,
so yeah, but
Hey, B-ball.
Yeah, you B-ball.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Oh, another
How are you
genius.
today?
I am good. I just posted a new video. It should be up in about another 40 minutes.
Oh, cool. And what have you done this time?
So my good old friend Witsit had a live stream where he borrowed
his good old friend Witsit. B-Ball and Witsit, friends. Didn't know
I don't
that.
think so.
Oh no! Oh, right. So he's not. So that's his opening statement is a lie then.
A bit of sarcasm, maybe.
Ah. Okay.
Flat Earth Banjo's AE map to explain Southern Hemisphere flights.
Hmm.
Oh, it's gonna be epic. You'll like it.
That sounds awesome.
Funny thing, yesterday, Bev had to kick Brenda from his server for spreading misinformation.
Really?
Really?
I missed that.
Yes.
Sounded like a newscast.
Yeah. That's coming. Yeah. Brenda was talking shit about professional people and professional stuff that she has got no idea about. We can't just have people just saying stupid shit like that. So yeah, I got rid of Brenda.
Bev starts kicking people for spreading misinformation, there will be nobody on his stream.
Wow.
As in, you really kicked her out of the server permanently?
Yeah, no.
No, not, I don't think. I don't know.
He just kicked her from that stream, I think.
What was the information that what information was she spreading?
Something about calibration of Theodolites.
Oh God.
This is the guy who did not understand that theodolites can show horizontal. I guess.
What a moron. Of course, if you put a theodolite in the horizontal position, it's going to show horizontal. It's just that it's a device for measuring angles. Those angles have to be set at a baseline. So, Rumpus blatantly lying again.
I mean, it's just incredible. This is a guy who goes on about auto levels, and clearly, just like he only understands that something happens in his bedroom, he's only ever familiar with an auto level.
What's he talking about? What's going on? Balls in bedrooms and auto levels in bedrooms.
Level. And so when he was told by George and myself and others that you can use a theodolite to give you a horizontal, he was absolutely astonished, and then he wanted to know how it worked. And when he
That's a lie again.
was informed it had effectively the same as a compensator as you have in a or an equivalent, you have a sort of plumb bob type device inside the theodolite, he was absolutely astonished, and he wanted.
You don't. You literally don't. This is where you should have stopped him, Blue. You shouldn't have let this carry on. He thinks that there is an auto-leveling device within the theodolite. It's got a scope that moves. You want to hear that again? Just
as you have in a or an equivalent, you have a sort of plumb bob type device inside the theodolite. He was absolutely astonished, and he wanted
a plumb bob type device in a theodolite. Scope tilts up and down. Crazy.
a full explanation of how this all worked. He's just unfamiliar with basics.
Has he ever seen that that water level that Jesse did? You know what I'm talking about with the red liquid in the water level?
I didn't think Jesse did that. I thought that was
Jesse Gordon.
Yeah, Jesse Gordon.
Oh, Jesse Gordon. All right. Oh.
You know what I'm talking about?
I'm sure he's seen it. Yeah, where he's looking across a valley or something at
and he does it at different heights. Is this the one with the red water, and he does it at 3 different heights of a mountain?
No, just one height.
He's over. It's looking over water to like Canada somewhere. And
there's another one with red. Right, there's another one with up a mountain where someone's got with a red water, and again he's at 3 different heights. looking across to some other mountains.
Yeah, I think that's the same. I think it's the same one, the same guy. But the one I'm talking about is the with he's over water.
Right. They're talking about the Jesse Gordon water level. They're all getting. Blue, are you saying that you go along with what Rumpus was saying there within the auto mechanism floating prism system within the Theodolite? It'd be interesting if you do. Nice, like a Theodolite, the prism. Interesting.
And he's looking at buildings.
Oh right,
Yeah.
no, it's not. I haven't seen that one.
Like, what is? I mean, I know Bev. He fucking swears by water levels.
Oh yeah, but he complained when Sly he was having a discussion with Sly, and they brought up the one I'm thinking of, and he said water levels don't work over that distance. And he accused Sly of wiggling it around or something. He basically does not believe that water levels have any validity to anything if you use them beyond the end, which the far end of your water level. Beyond that, they've ceased to work, apparently.
Right, here's Rumpus's misunderstanding of a water level. That's why it measures angles, isn't it, Blue? Yeah. So here we're talking about a water level being used from point A to point B. Rumpus wants to go beyond A and beyond B with the water level, and then saying that I don't understand something. The whole idea of the water level is you've got point A and point B. You can directly relate those 2 points with each other. If you want to go beyond it, then just extend the tube to where you want to go to. Simple. But what Rumpus is talking about here is using a water level as a sighting tool. Something that doesn't ever happen apart from in like YouTube videos and globe earthers that imagine this paralogism actually means something. It doesn't actually mean anything.
You cannot look at something using looking along the line of a water level beyond the last water level.
Are you saying that you
just
can't
like an
look
auto level?
across a water level?
Just like in auto level, he claims that you can't. Just as Blue obviously had met this when he was having that debate with him 2 weeks ago, or whatever, about the looking at Blackpool Tower. He was only prepared to think about what the auto level was doing to the point where it went to Bev and the measuring rod. After that, apparently, it has no meaning. It is of no use. It's not doing anything you can talk about. The guy is bonkers.
Yeah.
And he talks about extending lines. He keeps on quoting Euclid, saying one of the postulates, axioms, is the second one or something. That you can extend a line segment to any distance to make it infinite. Well, hold on.
See, now, does it sound like Rumpus knows anything what he's talking about here? Is it an axiom? Is it a postulate? What's he talking about? Talking about the basics of what you're allowed to do within the geometry. The rules. of how you can use all of these things and what you're allowed to do. And that's extend a straight line at a terminated point. Let it be able to be extended, that straight line. Very simple. Let's see a rumpus.
Don, I've got this horizontal, and which, of course, I've got this graticule in my auto level, which he then sort of says it's only in the auto level, you know. Yes, we know this, but it still gives you defines a horizontal plane visually off to infinity. And for some reason, there's a point at which he doesn't think you can't extend it. It somehow wears out or becomes invalid after a useful distance to him. And if you're looking at Blackpool Tower, oh, that's much too far away. It's only allowed to go as far as Bev.
No, the official claim is that he used the instrument not for the purpose it was intended. My question is, when was Bev when he last used his equipment for the purpose it was intended to?
When we go out there and use the auto level, like I've always said, this channel is called On the Level. Reason one, we stick to honesty and we stick to talking about reality. In an honest discussion, everybody's on the same level. We are honest when we are talking to each other. The other reason is because we've got an auto level, we put a camera on the auto level and we stream that into this Discord. Now, as far as I know, that's not done anywhere. That's not standard practice. It's only done for the aid to give everybody in the Discord server the understanding of what it's like to be out there in the field looking through the auto level so they can see exactly what we would see. In fact, you do get a better view in Discord than you would out there in the real world when you're measuring things. But it gives everybody in the Discord server the chance to do that measuring. We don't do any measuring out there. This is basic to show people how these things work. And that's what we're doing. They're going at it in the YouTube chat. Blue Marble getting brave.
Does he have any proof? He did.
Chike saying, do we have any proof? Yes. The live streams, everybody that came in here to watch it came in here and watched it. That's like, what is the point? We go out there, we do stuff so everyone can see what it is. Then a few people, it seems, gather together to misunderstand what it is that we were talking about. And they all come together to push their own paralogisms about what it was that we actually did, rather than coming to talk to us about it, rather than going over it. They don't. They just want to push their own bullshit.
Yeah, at some point,
Thanks,
I guess to him, at some point, it stops becoming a horizontal plane.
Yes, I presume so. Because I mean, his idea is that it's only a graticule, it's only a line inside the compensator, and therefore, I mean, it just doesn't work. Even from, as I say, the reason I raised the extended thing is that he seems to understand that Euclid's defined lines that can be extended, but for some reason, when it's inconvenient to him, an auto level plane, in effect, can't be extended infinitely. But yes, I think he's tried to come up, what was it, 6 months ago, with some story about it like being bent or something in some way, that therefore after a certain distance, and of course the trouble is these stupid manuals in these auto level things say the maximum distance you can use it is 200 feet or something, but that's only if you want to use it with a flipping goddamn with a measuring rod, and it.
Yeah, but they really don't
Did he just say the stupid manuals?
I think that he is offending surveyors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's coming up with a new... He's repurposing. It's Rob Keeney. What do we call that? Tool abuse. It's a professional tool. Rumpus is wanting to go beyond it, but he has admitted just there. He knows that in the manual it says there is a limit.
Say that. They'll list a usable range, but it's based on the size of the markings on a measuring rod.
But it doesn't use the words maximum range in there. Mine, for instance, I think has a maximum range in there.
I have a manual that was given to me by George, rest in peace, that literally has a section just for curvature and refraction.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll find that.
Oh, shout out George. Sending people manuals. Trusted, passing the torch. There you go, young lad. On to you.
So that's the trouble. They're confused by the words maximum range, and then realizing that the auto level doesn't have to be used. I mean, he thinks, of course, it's an essential.
Even though the manual says, listen to him.
Part of the auto level is this measure. No, it isn't. The only thing the auto level does is give you a nice horizontal graticule with 2 stadia marks in addition to that. That's all its job is, and it gives that correctly. And obviously you've got to allow for refraction. That's all it does. And if you then use that with a measuring rod, that's fine. You can do that, but it doesn't stop it doing all the thing that it fundamentally does. It's the logic of these people is just
if you know anything about what you're doing, you eliminate all of those errors by doing differential leveling. As soon as you do a foresight and a backsight, you wipe out collimation errors, you wipe out refraction, and you wipe out the curvature of the Earth.
So, by using differential leveling, i.e. parallel horizontals, you get away, or you get rid of the curvature of the Earth by using parallel horizontals, differential leveling. It's good. I know that again. Because that was blue marble. That's right, blue, isn't it? Do it 20 odd seconds. Blue marble, the wisdom of blue marble here. Talking about surveying.
The logic of these people is just
if you know anything about what you're doing, you eliminate all of those errors by doing differential leveling.
Right, you get rid of all of the errors by doing differential leveling. Differential leveling is parallel horizontal planes, and you measure a vertical distance between these. You measure the difference in the levels. Differential leveling. It's the difference between each of these horizontal planes, parallel horizontal planes, that you measure to find the elevation point of an unknown point. You use this technique, but mainly just for elevation.
As soon as you do a foresight and a backsight, you wipe out collimation errors, you wipe out refraction, and you wipe out the curvature of the Earth.
See, you wipe out the curvature of the Earth by using parallel horizontals, differential leveling. So thank you very much, Blue. He's obviously been doing a bit of studying.
Yeah. All three of those things disappear as soon as you do a foresight and a backsight.
Soon as you do a foresight and a backsight, because that establishes a straight line. And once you have a straight line, then you can obviously have parallels. Once you establish a horizontal, you've got parallel horizontals. and you just measure elevation changes. There's no curvature involved in the horizontals there. So you can wipe that out. Wipe that thought out of your mind completely. It's just horizontals being parallel.
It seems like they're throwing somebody under the bus with the RBD face, but maybe it's...
Well, we will. No. We will be going back over that. I was thinking that. I mean, this blue marble obviously is talking about differential leveling.
Well, that demonstration we got was supposedly differential leveling.
Globe differential leveling, yeah. RBD face.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well.
Yeah. Blue marble knows what he's doing. He's talking about it. He's telling everybody. He's probably letting them know ahead of the time.
Yeah, it's amazing. I didn't realize this until what Larry mentioned to me about a year and a half ago. I was that's why they do it. And it's just remarkable.
So Larry mentioned it to Rumpus. So Larry is the guy that's was it Larry that told you, Blue? No. Differential leveling, Blue, uses horizontal parallel planes, and you measure the difference between the levels. Now, the level is definitely horizontal, the auto level. Just a straight horizontal plane as the traditional horizontal plane with zero curvature to it. Pretty simple, Blue.
How you can eliminate those fundamental errors just by using that procedure. And I just didn't realize before then what's going on about back stuff up without explicitly saying why you should be doing that. And of course you don't. For instance, I'll bring it up again, be boring. Measuring the height of Mount Everest, of course, they didn't have foresights and backsights. They had to make a measurement from out. Here's an example. If you get a flat earther saying there's a limitation on the working range of a Theodolite stroke auto level, remind them that they measured the height of Everest over 80 miles away. And that's rather further than the limit.
Calculated. Come on.
It's supposedly that they're talking about in these manuals. So just tell them to sod off and bear that in mind. We can measure the height of Everest using 19th century technology over a distance of 80 miles. And that just invalidates their whole argument if you bring that up. And that'd be one of the things to be in my little guide to refuting flat earthers and the globe. And that's a very powerful argument. I think people should take that one on board, I think, so that people like Bev and these words seems to have pervaded other people, and they immediately bring up the limitations of the range, and you can immediately destroy that argument by mentioning the determination of the height of Everest.
Right, so Rumpus, this is where he's directly giving them the paralogisms here. He's saying that saying an auto level only has an operating range is an argument. Well, it's not. It's a it's a fact. He even said it himself. It says it in the manuals. But Rumpus is saying he's got to go beyond that.
I've developed a new argument against flat Earth.
Are you ready for this? John Hawkins has developed a new argument. Now, I'm liking this. It sounds like they're trying to put arguments together. Come on, Sean. Tell us your argument.
Good. Are you going to treat us to it?
Huh?
Come on,
Are you going to treat us to it?
Oh, yeah. So there's supposedly a container, according to Nathan Oakley, Quantum Racer, and everybody in that crowd, that's supposed to keep the air from rushing out into whatever's beyond the container. But yet they also say that the container or the firmament separates the waters above from the waters below, right? So all there is out there is water. I actually had a flat earther confirm that there's no space outside the container. It's all water. It's waters above, waters below.
It's firmament.
Well, then
business.
according to that, water is a vacuum.
Well, they dispute there's a vacuum up there, I think.
Well, they say that the air will be sucked out by whatever's outside the container if the container's not there. Well, it's all water.
Yeah.
But
seems like they've got a bit of a misunderstanding, and Sean's got himself all wrapped up in knots. He doesn't know which model he's going with now.
And by the way, he is killing his argument, because if above firmament is the water, it means that there is not a vacuum. The whole argument was about vacuum next to atmosphere. That was argument, that you cannot have atmosphere next to vacuum, because the air should disperse, as physics shows that it happens, that if there is a higher pressure and lower pressure, it should be equalized immediately, especially for gases. So if Sean is talking about water above and and below, it means that there is container, not a vacuum. So I don't know how he can create any argument against this.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what his argument was, to be honest. Don't know whether we've heard it yet or not.
But I think they're saying that's our model. I think they're saying if our model is to be accepted, that would happen. But I think they're saying that there's not a vacuum up there. If they go for the religious firmament view.
No, they are saying that water is a vacuum because of what they're saying about that there's water out there and the air will be sucked out into whatever's beyond the container.
I'm not sure that's universal. I think that's
and
a small section you're
the same
talking
people
about.
that say that, well, the reason we had Noah's flood is because the firmament opened and allowed the waters to come in. That's what the Bible says.
Yeah, that's
why, if we don't have a container, will the air rush out? If the water will come in, if there's holes in the firmament.
Well, presumably God opened up the holes.
So where did the water go after they came down from the firmament?
Don't know.
See, we've got into religious studies now, and
I don't know how they imagine they can create any argument from that, because still they are talking of firmament and water, and Sean Hawkins said that this vacuum is water.
Well,
so and he said that flat earthers say that this water is vacuum.
Yeah,
this is nonsense.
He's going and doing what I think a lot of other people have been doing. They've been helping the Globers with their arguments, but this is some sort of a twisted reversal now, where Sean Hawkins is helping the flat earthers with his interpretation of what he's heard in a conversation somewhere from other people. He's trying to imagine some sort of argument. I mean, he doesn't even cite who it is that said this. It's just attributed, giving it to flat earthers. But, I mean, inverted commas, frantic bunny ears. Who?
And by the way, I think that it is his misunderstanding what he heard, because I cannot just believe that flat earthers said that water is vacuum.
It's vacuum.
This is just idiotic completely.
It's his interpretation of something.
back up through the
Yeah.
holes into where it came from?
No one saw that.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't write it down, presumably.
Well, said they describe how the water came down, but nobody saw them came up. Only they
Presumably
became
that's
less
more.
and less.
That's presumably easier to see, having the water coming down rather than evaporating away gradually, presumably, and back up into the firmament is something that you could argue. And given the fact that only Noah was around, presume there were many fewer people to document this. In fact, who's supposed to have documented the Great Flood? Is Noah supposed to have written all about this?
I guess. But see, they were too busy. The 8 people left over after a good and kind God killed everyone else. They were all locked in a boat and they couldn't see what happened. So,
Yeah, I mean, I presume that's their reasoning, is that there weren't enough
And
people to document it.
let's suppose the water evaporated. Where to?
This firmament place where it came from, presumably. The
But
holes were
if you
opened up
open
by
the
God.
gate, the water comes down.
Well, perhaps they had a valve.
And that's the irreconcilable thing that they can't work out is the water came in, but if you take away the container, then the air will escape out. That
he's coming up with problems of other people, but I mean, don't they have some problems of their own? Isn't this a distraction? I think it's part of the existential cognitive veiling.
Yes, it is distraction. They are trying to interpret what Bible said, but in fact, it is not told in Bible as they depict. So, and by the way, this is not very clear description what happened. So they are over interpreting, I think. So I don't know how they can create any argument.
I think they've got Sean off his original whatever Sean was going on about, and they've this is where they've found themselves now in an uneasy conversation about misinterpretation of religious text or whatever, stories told by Sean Hawkins and Rumpus and Blue Marble. I mean, like, I'm not up to date on all of this, the Bible and, you know, these stories, or, you know, these the words that they were laid out and the timelines and all of that. But it seems like these guys are. Now, whether that's because you end up debating religion, but I mean, can you debate religion? I don't know. But I do know what debating reality or talking to these guys about reality is. I can't imagine what they'd be like if you were talking about something like that.
It is not a religious topic, really. It is like maybe cosmological topic around Bible text. So it would be that, but still, for me, it is a segue from physics because
Water ball is is where they're going away from, right? They're trying to say other people have problems, but I think most of their problems are model derived problems, aren't they?
yes, but maybe they are just segueing to Bible discussions about cosmology, Bible cosmology or whatever. I don't know.
how can you have both? How can you have one?
Oh, it's Blue Marble took it off. Oh, like it appears that Blue Marbles took his video down. I don't know what else there was left there. Made it private.
So something fishy here.
Yeah. What do you reckon Blue Marble was talking about? What do you reckon was the next topic? Does anyone know?
I don't know what, because I think you have some preview of that, but I didn't see.
No, I haven't got anything. He's took it down now. I was doing it live. Well done, Blue. That's the way we go over it. Post a link. It's gone, isn't it? I don't know whether he's took it down completely. The video's unavailable. Been made to private. Blue Marble Science. Yeah, Blue Marble, what are you doing? Taking your live streams down? Why do you do a live stream if you don't want people to go over it? Nah. He's got one here. Mobius tells us about LIGO. I'm not bothered taking that one down. Just took the one down where we were going over with Rumpus. I bet Rumpus was talking some utter shite, wasn't he? Blue Marble's laughing. He did do it. Embarrassed he was about what Rumpus was saying, so he had to take it down. Talking about... That's Blue Marble's live streams. If you want to catch up on stuff that even Blue Marble doesn't want Rumpus's bullshit going out. What was it? Sean Hawkins? Who was it?
Still, it's just a shame.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you're ashamed of what you do in a live stream when you let Rumpus take over, it's hardly surprising. There were some bits coming up where Rumpus started speaking for Blue Marble. I bet that was it. Rumpus was talking about all sorts of stuff. You remember? It's all right, Blue. Don't worry about it. We know it was embarrassing for you. We wouldn't want to put you through that. Shame. You should have took it down like straight away. Yeah, unicorn. Yeah, definitely. So we've got I don't know if Mike's listening. We go over some of the clips Boom Marble was talking about. Oh, actually, that's what we've got. Any agents live. Where's Wally posted? Copy image. Put it in the live chat. So this is what Wally posted. And this is what the thing is. So Wally posts this, which we'll go to in a minute. Plato Chips, who's another one of the Paralogism advisors from Twitter. No, Blue, you're all right. Don't worry about it. It's too embarrassing for you. We can't be doing that. Plato Chip says, beautifully stated by Blue Marble there, Bev. Try thinking. That is a great example of how to construct an argument. You should take note because you are terrible at it. This is a Blue Marble argument that Where's Wally's posted. So again, thanks, Blue. We'll be going over this sort of stuff tomorrow over on the logic, but just to give you a brief glimpse of it, seeing as Blue Marbles are ashamed of Rumpus and us going over what Rumpus says. This is Blue Marble Science 13 seconds ago. Look how quick he is. This is Wally's. Took a screenshot of Blue Marble's comment 13 seconds after Blue Marble has posted it. So keen is Wally to be hanging on every word that Blue Marble says. So this is a classically constructed argument according to Plato Chips. He says, Blue Marble Science, inverted commas, frantic bunny ears. If there is only one plane of the horizon, as you claim, P, this is a beautifully constructed argument. If there is only one plane of the horizon, as you claim, P, then all zenith verticals to that plane are parallel, Q. That's more of a definition within book 11. He says, all zenith verticals are measurably not parallel, not Q. So that's a big claim. I'm liking that you've done that though, Blue. That's you making a claim that verticals are measurably not parallel. It's going to have to be backed up. That's the claim. That's the bit that needs backing up.
Yes, Black Swan.
Yep. Zeniths, verticals, are measurably not parallel, not Q. Modus tollens, that's the bit that has to be checked. When we said it, like I said, all horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon, because that can be done and checked by anybody. Even Rumpus in your bedroom. Rumpus will be happy about that. Bedroom science. He says, therefore, multiple non-parallel planes of the horizon exist. That logic, confirmed by empirical measurements, remains unchallenged and unrefuted, says Blue Marble.
So he has to show us these empirical measurements.
Yep. Empirical measurements that he says remains unchallenged, because that would seem to suggest that he's just refuted Euclidean geometry in reality. Blue Marble. What an argument. Blue Marble's argument from the Globe. The Globe, no. Blue Marble Science argument. Wally's shouting about his stolen concept. Wally, we've told you like at least a year ago, your argument is self-refuting very easily. We've asked you to come in anytime you want. And did you? No. Too shy. Right. Easily refutable, Wally. Stolen concept. You've been a paralogism advisor for a lot of people. I can see that. There's nothing to back any of your stuff. There's no argument can be made. This one that Blue Marble is making can be refuted by the fact that there will be no measurements for verticals not being parallel. Because you're basically destroying a coordinate system that everybody uses in reality. Only a small group of people that are pushing their paralogisms on everyone. Wally's there.
Oh, Wally's talking about calculations. Don't worry.
No, Wally's talking about when he hired a guy to measure an angle for him.
Oh, angle.
Yeah.
Yes, angle you can measure as you want, but
His stolen concept is what he's talking about, is the conclusion. The paralogism that he comes up with is that horizontals aren't parallel because he measured two angles. Oh, well, he paid somebody to measure an angle and then Wolfie measured another angle. That's literally it with Wally. He was meant to go over to Nathan Oakley's to get it refuted. But I don't think Nathan Oakley spotted the stolen concept within Wally's. Because it's at the fundamentals of what he's talking about. Anyway, it was the guy that may or may not live in Maine that did a video that he used 1,500 feet, 500 meters, which is why we went out to Blackpool on that day. That Chaiki got thing, and Blue Marble came over here to talk about that as well. Well, that day was the day that we went over there to show everyone exactly what you can see for over 500 meters. And it turns out you can't see the accuracy which they were claiming to have measured. So that proved the guy that may or may not live in Maine is lying, at least about taking the measurements that he did. It's impossible to be able to do that. So yes, well, we don't know who he is, where he is. He's gone. He's like Jesse Kozlowski. He's gone, disappeared, never to come back. And I don't know whether these new guys, the Twitter surveyors that we've got, talking rubbish. So Blue Marble's argument, if there is only one plane of the horizon as you claim, I've never said that. I've said all horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon. It doesn't mean that there is only one plane of the horizon. The horizons are obviously in different locations wherever you are. But all horizontals will be parallel to the plane of the horizon. Wherever you are, wherever the plane of the horizon is, all of the horizontals will be parallel to that one. Wherever you are, wherever anybody is, horizontals will always be parallel to the plane of the horizon, and therefore all horizontals will always be parallel to each other. Quite a simple statement. But Blue Marble starts off with I'm saying a false premise, that one. If there is only one plane of the horizon, as you claim, P. Doesn't sound like a proper premise to start an argument off with, but it's up to you, Blue, if that's what you're going with. Wally's definitely championing it, and Plate of Chips thinks this is how you should structure an argument.
Planes of horizon can be parallel also to each other, because, for example, if you have horizon and at sea, sea horizon, true horizon, it is at some higher or lower level, because you cannot say that this is at some sea level point, because it is not. So your horizon line may be higher or lower at different places. So these planes would be parallel to each other, but not one plane, I think.
Stefan Mudd, who's one of the guys who's very, very active in the YouTube comments section, looks like he's wanting to step up and be a full-on paralogism advisory. He wants a slot on the council, so we might be seeing him a lot more. Let him in, Blue Marble. Let him into Blue Ops. He's obviously one of your guys. Don't leave him on the outside. Oh, Blue Marble, you write it out, Blue. You get it out there. The one I've got, if all horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon, then all horizontals are parallel to each other. I'm calling that one the argument. What are you calling yours, Blue? Make sure you get it sorted as well. Don't put people claiming things within a premise at the beginning. And I don't want to get myself involved in it, Blue, but be good to see you finally stepping up and putting an argument out there. It still wouldn't be or would it? No, it wouldn't be a positive claim, would it? Or yeah, modus tollens, I suppose.
If all planes of the horizon are parallel, yes, that would be a positive claim, yes.
Then all zeniths verticals to that plane are parallel. Well, that's like Euclidean, right? You could literally state a definition within Euclidean geometry for that.
Yeah. Yes, in that statement, all of the zeniths or verticals should be parallel, even if the planes of horizon are parallel to each other. So
Says here, a straight line is perpendicular or at right angles to a plane when it makes right angles with every straight line meeting it in that plane. And then I think it's a within the propositions, two planes cut one another. If two straight lines be at right angles to the same plane, they shall be parallel to one another. That would go, right? Proposition 6. That's what you're trying to refute then, Blue? Brave move, but yeah, go for it.
Still, black swan is needed from blue side, not from your side, because all know that verticals are parallel to plane of horizon and horizontal line or whatever. So it has to be measured. And Blue said that he has these measurements.
Yeah.
So I think this is fantasy. He doesn't.
Oh, well. It's blue marble science. So, blue marble is going to show through argumentation that perpendiculars to a plane, i.e., perpendiculars to a horizontal plane, i.e., verticals, are not perpendicular or at right angles to the same plane. Yeah, because he can't have the perpendicular. He's going to have to disprove the horizontal plane, isn't he?
Yes, because he has to have a curved horizontal or horizon.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems to be a bit trickier now that you put it like that. Did you see it like that, Blue? Wally, have you seen what Wally's led you into now, Blue? You're going to have to curve that horizontal. That's going to be interesting. How do you curve a horizontal for the globe? Yeah, I don't know. It's a Dornagon Ute. It's a Dornagon. Well, but yeah, good. You have to, don't stop him. Blue Marble's going to be making a video. He's been led down this path by Wally. He's got support. He's got his Paralogism advisors. And Blue Marble's stepping up. He's got a team on his side. So you did it all yourself. Blue Marble's done all of this himself. He didn't have any help from Wally. He's taken it on his own. He's took offence at me saying that Wally's helped him out and led him down a path. Showed him a stolen concept. Got Plato chips. Beautifully stated. So you do have your support out there, Blue. The chat's going mad. Thank you very much for joining. Keep him busy. Obviously, the existential cognitive veiling Blue will very soon get stuck when you start drawing lines to do the geometry of perpendiculars and at right angles that they're dealing with. But we all know Blue Marble draws lines on circles, and Rumpus is one of the very best at doing that too. Interesting. And having Blue Marble shutting in videos down Making videos private. I like it. I like it, Blue.
This shows something for the audience that he takes down his own streams. Strange. Or maybe in this stream there was something we didn't get into it yet, so maybe it was preemptive move.
I said it's pretty embarrassing. That's why we was going over it. He obviously knew that they were talking rubbish. And Rumpus, I'm sorry, Sean, I'm sorry, Blue Marble, obviously thinks you were talking shit on his channel. Takes it down, stop everybody going over it. That's how embarrassing it is for him. And we do have a fair bit more of Blue Marble. We might do a special. Blue Marble going, look at my channel, look at my channel. No, Blue, you took your video down as we were going over it. Why would anybody want to look at your channel again? It's obvious that you're ashamed of your own videos. Trying to make yourself a spectacle. You're a joke.
Yes, this all thing doesn't look good anyway, so. But can expose something here.
The Paralogisms, the advisory council that Blue Marble has over there, just it goes to show that when they're on their own and they're not talking to any, let's say, flat earthers, they start talking about some weird things. And Blue Marble gets, obviously, he gets scared that people will be talking about it. He doesn't want them to be seen or heard by other people. Doesn't want to be going over that. And obviously, Blue Marble gets upset if you start going over his videos. He has to hide them.
Yes, maybe this one stream was too much humiliating for him.
Mm-hmm. I think what happened is he started his live stream up, and I think whether it was meant to be for Rumpus or not, but Rumpus completely took over it. And there were a few times where Rumpus kept saying, "Now stop me if I'm wrong, Blue. Stop me if I'm wrong." And Blue Marble never stopped him, and then Rumpus, as always, just carries on talking shit. It might be that sort of stuff that Blue Marble was. Because, like, if you don't tell him he's wrong, then he obviously goes about telling everybody he's right. And so Blue Marble agreed with him. Yeah, right. Yes, Blue, of course. That's why you're in the chat now, listening to us, trying to save us from embarrassment. Of course, yes. Blue, you're a joke. Your argument is a joke. and you're going to be needed to produce the evidence of your empirical
measurements.
Yeah, empirical measurements. Your I hope it's not Jeff and the ones that we've already been out there and refuted prove that he's definitely not a surveyor. Same goes for Jesse. Bring him back. Bring back Jeff and bring back Jesse. That should be the thing now from the Globers. Come on back, guys. You're going to have to for Blue Marble. Blue Marble can't make his measurements now. His eyes aren't good enough. He's getting old. He needs some young blood. Maybe B-Ball with George's manuals. Blue Marble's making a video, I think. It's funny, you've been laughing all day, Blue. This is good. So we'll go over Blue Marble. I think Blue Marble was the one that said he has proof that level isn't horizontal as well. Yeah. Go live, Blue. Go and tell everybody how upset you are. How you've been sat in the chat all afternoon. Other people taking your videos down so you don't want people to go over them. Live. Too embarrassed at what Rumpus says. Too embarrassed at Sean Hawkins. We've got some of the other stuff as well, and I've noticed on Twitter. Let's see what else we've got. Seeing as Blues. This guy here, this Plato Chips. He says, oh, actually, Slice Barcane. Here's a voice you've not heard for a bit. Wonder whether he's going to come over onto Blue's channel. Let's see it with the guys. He says, vertical is the only direction defined by nature. Period. Everything else is determined from it. How else would you see the horizon in a deep valley or even a cave? Yeah, all right. Tip of the day says, valleys and caves have floors, streams, lakes, bodies of water, nature's true horizontals, level, straight, horizontal. Then Plato Chips comes in and says, curvature drop is measurable. I've done it myself. Curvature drop, vacuous statement, means nothing.
If he measured some vertical drop, it does not mean that this is curvature. The same argument as this ephidogma used, that if there is change of elevation in this LIGO, it means there is curvature of the level. It doesn't follow. So in that case, for example, mountains and valleys would be drops or rise. So in one part, the Earth would be concave and the other would be convex. So nonsensical statement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Blue, what do you reckon to that? These are your paralogism guys, the advisors. It's a meaningless thing. He's looking over water with a auto level. No measuring rod. Using a tool far too far in the distance, doing something that nobody ever does. There's been some strange... These two guys as well. Yeah. Yeah, show it. It's all right. Yeah, YouTube does for any... sometimes... if there are offensive words spoken, YouTube will ask you whether you... Yeah, and it can be... It's very sensitive. There are a lot of snowflakes out there now, gods. You have to be very careful with stuff because there are people that will report you for that sort of stuff. Like people like Brenda and stuff. There's loads of people that send in reports. Oh yeah. They like to keep us in check with all of the things. Make sure we're all tip top. Has Blue gone live? It's about the time Blue needs to go live. Sort out this. He needs to get the council together. They need to work out how they're going to try and get some empirical measurements for verticals not being perpendicular to horizontal. Remember, no two verticals can be perpendicular to the same horizontal on the globe model. It's just not possible. So you're going to have to choose which one is going to be perpendicular. I don't envy you, Blue, but shout out to you. I mean, this has been a long going thing. They never really managed to sort the geometry out. So applying that to reality, whoa, I'd say impossible. Yeah, I would. Just all you've got is Euclidean, and how are you going to relate it to how do you relate non-Euclidean to Euclidean? Impossible.
I would relate it as contradiction, because Euclidean and non-Euclidean means contradiction.
Mm-hmm.
So mutually exclusive.
Yeah, how do you find yourself in that position where Blue is now, stating that he can verticals aren't parallel? It's one of the most ridiculous statements I ever heard.
They are verticals.
Mm.
Or only one on the globe would be vertical. But which one to choose to be this one vertical for the whole globe?
Well, you see, when you think of it like that, like because it's stated of the way these guys stated it, it seems like we do have a realizing Euclid test, which would be the fundamentals, right? Because all I would say, all you have to do in this situation is to show that a horizontal exists. You can make a horizontal. Because if there can be a horizontal made, then the laws of Euclidean geometry would state all perpendiculars to it, all lines at right angles to it, would be parallel.
Yes, but what's the problem? I cannot see any problem here. So yes, you can create horizontal.
Mm-hmm.
So no problem.
And therefore, by necessity, right, a perpendicular at each end will both be vertical and parallel.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. Geometrically and in reality, providing you can prove a horizontal in reality.
Yes, obviously. So, but you cannot prove this horizontal, for example, being curved.
Mm. Well,
This
Blue
is
Marble
just...
might be able to try to attempt to. I mean, it is 2022, and I'm sure nobody of Blue Marble's caliber has ever tried this before. He's got Wally to help him. The Wolf Pack, number 2.
I don't know, maybe somehow refracted horizontal or whatever. I don't know.
Wally thinks he has actually done it. Blue's gonna... Blue's not gonna take on Wally's stolen concept, is he? As his basis. I hope so.
I think that he is brave enough to be original.
He's going to have to, really. I mean, surely, Wally, I bet Blue Marble can see the stolen concept within your proof. I bet there's no way Blue Marble's going to take your ridiculous... You call it he calls it a proof, that horizontals aren't parallel.
Because he calculated some angle. Or measured even some angle, but still. He didn't measure 2 verticals. He didn't compare them.
Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna prove anything about horizontal if they're not even establishing horizontals.
They can't. That's part of the existential cognitive failing, right?
Yep.
That's the actual issue that they can't even address. They can't even look at it. And then see, look at this now as well. We've got a new guy, B Sharp. I don't know who he is. He says, "Oh, there's designed a test. Is Bev capable of that kind of organized thought?" Because he's talking about the Realising Euclid test that we did last year, and the one that Slice Barcane, not the Slice Barcane leaky water thing, where he showed everybody that he can't even link bits of pipe together. No, he doesn't even know what level it is. Trying to make water go uphill. And Slice Barcane says, au contraire, he actually does know what he wants to measure and how to get the results he wants, which is why he resists against citing down a longer test. Citing down a longer test. That's Slice Barcane's test, not mine. His Slice Barcane. He's got all the equipment. That's what he's going to do. His test. That's Slice Barcane's test, not mine. We did the Realising Euclid test. We did it last year. Slice Barcane failed at doing his test. He says, which is why he resists against citing down a longer test or producing a setup which would actually make a determination. He actually is cleverly dishonest. This Slice Barcane. Don't take his word on anything. He's dishonest. Lying. He hasn't got a clue about anything, really. Plato Chips, he said if he was ever that clever, he would realise anyone with half a brain can see right through his deception. I challenge anybody to come and have a look at the Realising Euclid test. Look at the setup, look at the geometry, look at how it works, look at the practicalness of it, look at the cheapness of it. Come and do it yourself. Test it out yourself. Anybody can come and have a look at it. And if you find anything dishonest about it, you'd see there's nothing up our sleeves when we show exactly how these water levels work. I've done it many times to many people. There's nothing dishonest about it. And B Sharp says, he's pandering to those with less than half a brain. It is very simple. And the idea is to make it as simple as possible so anyone can understand it. So I don't know whether I'm not pandering to anybody. We're just trying to make it as simple as possible. How to show that a horizontal lies within the plane and not without the plane. Part of it within the plane. Yeah, we just try and show that a horizontal does exist, and a water level tool is a device for establishing a horizontal plane. So we use that within Euclidean principles to show proposition 1 in book 11. We've already done it. And you can do it too. Anyone can do it using the same principles. And it doesn't need a sightline. You don't need... well, you can do it with about 3 or 4 people. In fact, you could probably do it on your own, given enough time. Set up. Pretty easy. So I feel sorry for Slice Barcane. If Slice Barcane wants to come and talk about his test, I know there was a couple of guys wanting to go over Slice Barcane and help him out, or maybe even borrow the gear that he's got after he's done with it. These guys know the issues that they have on their model, And we know the issues that they have on their model. But we just talk about reality here. And they still seem to get upset when we bring forward arguments from reality. They still get upset. Stefan Maud, what are you talking about? Surveyors don't survey lakes, Stefan. You're not talking about Jesse Kozlowski, and you're not talking about Bob the Science Guy, because that's not done. They're crazy YouTube guys. They're characters. They're not real. Somebody's handed you a paralogism and you're now spreading it around. That sort of stuff doesn't happen. Nobody surveys lakes. I can't imagine why anyone would do that. That's just... I surveys lakes to measure a drop on the other side of the lake. From both sides. Can you even imagine the concept of that? It was one of the strangest things I ever imagined whenever we started this. To get a water level and for each... It's a water level, right? You've got hold of one end and I've got hold of the other. Well, we're both at the same level. And you would say that the water level, it being one body of water from one end all the way to the other, establishes an even elevation. But on the globe model, they imagine there's a drop from each end. Think about that for a bit. Because you really have to put your head in a strange place to be able to do that. There's a slope from both ends. And that's what Stefan imagines across a lake. Which would be ridiculous.
He would have to establish slope horizontal for that, and then he would obtain hump in the middle.
No, they have a drop from horizontal, but not a measured elevation drop. It's something different whenever you go beyond the limits of the tool. Blue Marble was telling Mike about how it works, how it's not what you think it is when you think differently about it. It's like the guys are coming in. Blue's coming into the YouTube chat to cause drama. which I wouldn't really expect of somebody who's meant to be the grandpappy of the globe community at the minute. The globe, blue marble science, frantic bunny ears around the science bit. I think it's rapidly becoming a joke. Blue marble science, the blue marble science channel, is actually becoming a joke. I think he's in the chat, causing drama with people. Strange.
Okay, I have to drop to bed. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Good night.
Yeah, see you later. Right, yeah, I think maybe finish it a bit early tonight. Blue Marble took all the fun away by shutting his video down, making it private as we were going over it. Embarrassed at Rumpus and Sean Hawkins. Join us tomorrow, though. We'll go over a few more of Blue Marbles. I'll get a few of his comments and his new arguments coming up. Verticals not being parallel. Also, the fact that he's got a proof, like he says, of level not being horizontal. And yeah.
Did you say he's cut the thing mid-show? Because I missed. I was very busy.
Yeah.
Is that what he did?
Yeah. He shut his video down. We were going over it. And...
Wow, man.
Yeah.
That's really lame.
Turned his video to private. And
wow, Blue.
Model Affliction Blue, innit?
It's gonna go the way of Bob, I guess.
Yeah, he's gonna. You've got Rumpus and his debate with you and Mobius, come out of nowhere, completely just making shit up. And now Blue Marble's gonna be doing his showing empirical measurements. We'll go over a couple of Blue Marble's arguments, geometric arguments and stuff tomorrow. Focus, yeah, we might focus in on Blue. See whether we can find some good stuff. So, we'll cut it a bit early tonight. See you later, guys. See you tomorrow. Logic night, Euclid. See you later.
All right, here we go. Okay. Is it a hump or a drop? What do you say? You got to twist your words in every which way, because the motto will always dictate what you do. Everybody knows that you've got the model affliction blues. Is it a straight line or does it curve? Some people unclamp it, but that is absurd. We all know that the model will always dictate what you do. Everybody knows that you are model afflicted blue. Model affliction. It's your addiction. That model affliction. It brings you so much pain. It's your ball and chain. Conflating curvature with elevation change has got your local distance just out of range. That old biggie is gonna dictate everything that you do. And everybody knows that you got the model affliction blue. It's your decision defending the model position. You just don't know the geometric proposition. That old ball, it'll always be illogical to you. That's why perpendicularity is a puzzle to you. Model affliction. It's your addiction. Model affliction. It brings you so much pain. It's your ball and chain.
World famous Buster.